Hello, I am Marta Rubio-Codina from the Social Protection and Health Division at Inter-American Development Bank in Washington, D.C., and I would like to provide you with a brief overview of one of our studies. This is joint work with Sally Grantham-McGregor, and it investigates the evolution of the wealth gap in child development and mediating pathways using longitudinal data from 1,300 children in Bogota, Colombia. There is an increasing number of studies in low and middle-income countries from Madagascar, Colombia, Mozambique, and from other countries in Latin America, which have been documenting strong associations between poverty and deficits in child development. However, most of this evidence is cross-sectional, and few studies have looked at what are the risk and protective factors that contribute to explaining gaps in child development and also to explaining the effect of the timing of exposure. This is one of the few studies to measure child development in both early and in middle childhood using full developmental assessments to investigate these issues. What we did, in 2011, we collected data on a sample of 1,300 children aged 6 and 42 months in Bogota. We assessed the developmental levels on the Bailey scales and also collected their height, their weight, and additional information on their households, such as parental education and the quality of the home environment. This is the availability of play activities and play materials in the home. The sample was specifically designed to be representative of children in low and lower middle income households in the city. Back then, we found wealth gaps of half a standard deviation in cognition and in language between children in the 25% poorest and the 25% richest households in the sample. These gaps increase with age. Parental education and quality of the home environment mediated part of the effect of wealth on both outcomes, cognition and language, whereas height for age explained a small amount of the deficit in language only. 5.5 years later, in 2016, we went back to measure these children again. At the time, the children were 6 to 8 years of age and were enrolled in the first 3 grades of primary school. We managed to relocate 72% of the sample, and we collected their IQ using the Wechsler Intelligence Scale for Children and measures of school achievement using the Arithmetic and Reading Comprehension subtest from the Woodcock-Munoz and a measure of vocabulary based on the Peabody Picture Vocabulary Test. We found that the wealth gap in IQ at 6 to 8 years was significantly larger than that in a factor combining Bailey language and cognitive scores at 6 to 42 months. Moreover, in cross-sectional analysis, the IQ gap from 6 to 8 years increased, reaching over 1 standard deviation. Next, we investigated the role of various risk and protective factors. We introduced them sequentially, one by one, in the analysis, and tested the extent to which they contributed to closing the gap in wealth. More specifically, we included mothers' and fathers' education, child early height for age, the level of the home environment quality, this is home stimulation in early childhood, the level of the home environment quality in middle childhood, and factors related to early education and schooling quality. This is attendance to private education centers through early childhood and in primary school. We found that mothers' and fathers' education and early home environment remain major mediators of the wealth gap in IQ and achievement at ages 6 to 8 years. Later home environment and attending private education also had an effect, and early height for age was no longer significant. Current and past private education attendance were also significant mediators of the wealth gap in development in middle childhood. Improving educational levels, especially in girls before they become parents, should benefit child-rearing practices and subsequent child development. Moreover, interventions can modify both the quality of the home environment and parenting practices and can also improve the quality of childcare and educational services to children. This holds out promise. Much attention has rightly been paid by policymakers on the effect of nutritional deficits in the first 1,000 days, but this data and data from others suggest that development is sensitive to factors well past the first 1,000 days. Our results highlight the importance of investing in both the home environment and in school quality, and the need for continued and articulated interventions. Thank you for watching the video abstract, and I hope this work is helpful to you.